Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Mic check. Mic check. Okay. I think my mic is okay. All right. What time is it? 5:53. All right, let me just set this up. Make sure everything is good. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. What do I want to have a look at? Let's get rid of this. It's starting a bit earlier, like 5 minutes early. It's okay. It's all good. What's going on? Bitcoin. Oh my God. It's crashing. Bitcoin is going to zero. Sell. Buy. Sell. Oh my God. Solana 87. What the hell? It went all the way down to 68. Wow. Well, look at that head and shoulders pattern on Solana. Oh my God. Let's have a look at these other ones quickly. ETH all the way down to 1700. Wow. Let's have a look at ETH BTC. All right, this is an interesting one. We'll have to have a look at ETH BTC. Let's have a look at Solana BTC. Okay, that's interesting. Wow, Sui at $1. Cake. All right, there's a few interesting ones to look at, but let's just start with Bitcoin, huh? The granddaddy Bitcoin, the Royale, the Mac cheese. Oh. So yeah, let's go straight into Bitcoin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't joined me before, then welcome, and if you have, then welcome back. I do a weekly stream. I look at Bitcoin. I usually stream on Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays, but once a week. And if you don't know, then I have a YouTube channel. So if you do catch the stream and you're like, how do I keep up to date? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's the link there. I'll paste it in chat. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm only 45 subscribers away from 1,000. So every subscribe helps. And I have a few playlists here. You can catch all my Bitcoin updates here in purple. And I obviously have my live streams here as well. So I'm not getting crazy views, but you know, we start small and then step by step we grow, slowly but surely. So what was I looking at before? I was looking at Bitcoin last week. And I had two areas of interest. And I was looking at a swing failure here or a higher low here. And the swing failure didn't happen. You can clearly see it didn't happen. There was no swing failure, you see. When you have a line and it just goes straight through it, there's no swing failure. You see that? You can't trade that because there's no swing failure. That's why you wait for the reaction. A reaction would give you a trade, an entry, because you have an invalidation. But when you get a level that you're looking at that doesn't get respected, then you just ignore it. It went for lower. I had a lower level. There was some bounces at that level, but the reality is, and this is what I was saying last week, traders do trade these levels, but they take their profit. So however they take it, they take their profit, because it still doesn't indicate a reversal until you see a sign of strength. A sign of strength is key. So when you're looking at a level and it's not a swing failure, you need a sign of strength. A sign of strength is a clean reclaim of a higher level lost. in this context, probably the swing failure level. And when you don't get that, then you're not seeing strength, you're seeing bounce, not strength, bounce. And then you can get your higher time frame levels, and you need a reclaim. You need a clean reclaim on a medium to higher time frame. In this situation, you could argue that maybe the weekly there was some reclaim playing out, but with the swing failure of the high there, it was looking weak. And as soon as you lost that weekly, bam, it dropped. So again, you're not seeing strength, you're seeing bounces. An indication of weakness is when you get a level and it doesn't get respected. You've got the daily level, it doesn't get respected. So the next time it hits, it just walks through it, just smashes through. So let's just close that. I think it's fair to say that the Wyckoff has not happened. So I was looking at some posts on X, and I'm going to find it. That's why I was like last week, I wasn't sure about, there was this guy who was posting this Wyckoff idea. And I said, I don't think so, because if it doesn't look like it, then it's not it. And he was talking about Wyckoff manipulation or whatever. Let me see if I can find this post. He's made loads of rubbish posts, clearly. I'm just scrolling through them. Nah, pointless. I'll show you the post that I was looking at anyway. And so a lot of people like follow these speculative analysts. He was looking at a spring, and I was saying probably not. It was more likely to be an ST in phase B than a spring. And what I was looking at, possibly, was something, but it requires, for an ST in phase B, you do need to go up, huh? And the confirmation will be to get back above the SC, and then you get this nice 5-wave move. It's like the first move takes you back above the SC, and when you don't get that, then it's not a spring, is it? It's something else. And that's the key. You have to recognize that this is now something else. There's no Wyckoff in play here. Look, it doesn't look like these schematics, does it? It's not manipulated. It's just not it. It's just something else. You just have to say, well, it's not Wyckoff, it's something else. What is it? It's not this. It's not this. It's something else. And that's what we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out, what is it then? What's happening? What's happening? Okay. What's going on? Well, it's a head and shoulders pattern, except that this right shoulder was tiny, wasn't it? So I had this kind of head and shoulder idea. I was hoping for higher, maybe something more of an equilibrium shoulder, but it was so bearish that you took the swing failure there and then it collapsed. And if you're following my streams, you'll know that I was talking about it being bearish. Why? How? Who? Well, I was posting in Discord, wasn't I? And just to show you that I was posting in Discord, these are the two posts. 28th of January, 2nd of February. Look at that. More, no, and 26th of January. Super bearish CVD forming. 26th of January. See that? I was posting in my Discord. I was telling people, hey mate, this is bearish. I didn't go any bullish. I wasn't bullish. I was bearish. Okay. I was telling people this is bearish, bearish, and bearish. I wasn't focused on bullishness, even though you have an analysis and you're thinking it could be bullish or it could be bearish. It's 50-50, right? It could go up or down. But at the same time, the order flow was saying down, down, down. Yeah. And so when I first posted that, Bitcoin was at 87.5. see that? I posted again. Bitcoin was at 89. So it actually gone up, even though I was bearish. And then it was at 75 when I posted it the third time, and it was still bearish. Why was it bearish? Because the CVD was going up and the price was actually going down. That's why. Which means that buying was being absorbed by sellers. Effectively, that's what that means, right? So, I'll go back to that. 26th of Jan. Where is the 26th of Jan in the charts? Let's have a look. Oh, where's my time? It's gone. There. 26th of Jan. Let's go to the daily chart so you can clearly see. See here. There. It was bearish. Here. That's when I started saying, hey, this is bearish. When the price is around there. And it dropped, didn't it? It dropped a lot, 28%. So, again, it's just kind of hints, huh? It's like no one is 100%. No one really knows what's happening. But now that it's happened, we can see what's happening. We've got a really clean head and shoulders pattern, haven't we? That's what we're getting. That's what we've got, head and shoulders pattern. We've got a clean neckline break. I like horizontal necklines, but in this case, probably something like that. The neckline broke, clean neckline break, and then big sell. Just whatever, just a big dump. It smashed through the previous all-time high and the second one. So we're really in a bear market now, aren't we? It's obvious. No one can look at this and go, hey, this is a bull market. This is a bear market. No one's looking at this and going, this is a bear trap. I can't see a trap here. And the next opportunity to sell, the next pump will be a sell. It won't be a buy. It'll be a sell. Whenever the pump comes, there might be a pump. There always is. But it'll be sold into because people are looking at this and feeling bearish. They're not feeling bullish. When does this become bullish? Well, we need to see strength. We need to see signs of strength. And the sure way to see signs of strength are reclaims of higher levels, levels lost. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going to look at now. First thing I'm going to do is hide everything for a second. Just update my volume levels. That's what I do every single time. See that? And just to kind of keep an eye on the volume, see what's happening. We've lost that higher range. Now clearly lost it. No changes there. Now that we're in the lower range, volume range, we've got to start looking at the lower volumes. Overall, let's have a look at the overall volumes. This is I'm using the Bybit inverse perpetual chart. You can use any chart, preferably one with high volume. That's why I use this one. Yeah, no changes. We haven't hit the value area high yet. We haven't hit this high volume node yet. So probably a little bit more downside to go, huh? Probably. Just looking at this, there's no reason why we wouldn't go further down. And what else can I draw? Do we have a bull market volume? Let's have a look. Bull market channels. Have I not done a bull market volume? There. Let's bring the bull market volume. And I say we're in a bear market now, but let's just continue analyzing the volume from there. Yeah, no changes. There's no real changes in the volume. We've hit these high volume nodes. The point of control is still down there. So the other volume area that I think is quite important is this previous range. Yeah, because now we are clearly attacking this previous range. from when we entered to when we left. And you can see that we've smashed through all the way down to almost the value area low of this previous range. And we've cleaned out all the liquidity. Yeah, doesn't look bullish at the moment, does it? That's right at the low, the pivot low there. No help at all. Let's have a look at these anchored VWAPs. Anchored VWAP from the all-time high. Let's do another anchored VWAP from this pivot low here. Oh, this is interesting. Huh? So we've smashed through that. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Because we've gone through it, we've come back up. Are we trying to find support on this anchored VWAP? Like we did here and here? Let's have a look at the anchored VWAP here from this pivot high. It's a bit lower. I prefer lower, huh? I do prefer lower. And then the other one that we can look at is the COVID low. It's a bit lower as well. It's quite flat, huh? The quote COVID low. Let's keep that anchored VWAP. Let's forget that one. Actually, we'll leave that as well, because if we do get a bounce, that will definitely act as resistance. And what I was saying before was this high time frame swing long at 54k area. Wow. We'll have to look at that. This would be a head and shoulders fake out. We're not getting that at the moment. And that's the breakdown. Yeah. I think that's where we're at now. We're in a higher time frame head and shoulders breakdown. And possibly this is actually kind of there. It was much more bearish right shoulder. And now we're just breaking down. What's the extent of this expansion to the downside? It's usually the distance of the head, isn't it? So just kind of, I'm just making this up, but let's just say that's the neckline. It's kind of the distance from the top to the neckline. Yeah, I'm 52k, 51k. Probably that's as far low, as far down as this head and shoulders breakdown will take us, probably. That's probably the target, which will bring me to this 54k long. Why have I got 54k long? 54k area I put down. But we've got a really nice SR flip at a shade under 50k. So we are coming to the area where longs could be good, because that will also be the extent of this breakdown. All right. Let's have a look at these higher time frame levels. Fibs, yeah, look at that. So you got some big fibs in that area. Plus this anchored VWAP. got some untapped levels still. This daily level's holding. You see this one? That one's holding. So that's your kind of first level to test. If we don't lose that, or if we go lower, we've got another daily level, then we've got a weekly level further down. I think around 54k is a good area. You've got some big MPOCs there as well. And you've got this monthly MPOC at 58k. Really, that's the area. This is the area. Really, that's why I said 54k. Because you have a naked daily point of control. You've got a big fib. Another fib level. And you've got this naked daily point of control. You've got quite a strong confluence around 54.5. Underneath this anchored VWAP, yeah, and that would be the extent. I think that would be the extent of this head and shoulders breakdown. I'm not saying we're going to get there tomorrow. I have no idea, but I'm just looking at the way the price has dropped in this capitulation event. I don't see why we don't go down again, huh? I don't see why. I don't see any reason why we go all the way up. Why shouldn't we go? Why shouldn't we go down further? Yep, we've lost that trend line again. Let's just have a look at these higher time frame levels. Let's clean them up. Let's have a look at this monthly. Nope. Weekly. Let's just get rid of these now. Gone. Gone. Call that washed. And we have this kind of this new outer trend line. It's a very steep one. And then we have this kind of new outer trend line. This is the big one. That's the big one. That's going to be safety. Wait for the price to get back above this outer trend line. This is going to be the first sign of repair to get past this kind of steeper trend line. I think at the moment, until the price is able to do that with some strength to reclaim some levels, this is going to continue to look bearish. You've got a big buy and tell on the weekly, but the weekly hasn't ended yet. I would like to see how this ends tomorrow night. And the monthly is just looking miserable. Yeah? So whatever happens this monthly, it doesn't look good. Everyone was saying February is an up month. I was even thinking February is going to be a really bullish month, but just looking at it now, I don't see how this can be bullish. It's very difficult to be bullish. You have to reclaim the monthly open, and that's going to be very difficult to go back up and reclaim that. Everything's possible in crypto. The good news is that the monthly volume is decreasing at the moment, so it's not increasing, it's decreasing. But this weekly volume is increasing. You see that? So that's really bearish volume. It's increasing, decreasing prices, increasing volume. Hello, Krafkoff. Hi, nice to see you too. Thanks for joining me. It's always happy to have people joining me, engaging my chat. I'm just looking at this. I'm thinking maybe we could go down further, huh? I don't see why not. I don't like, I'm looking at this and going, hey, this is a good time to long. And it may be because usually when the price capitulates, it's good to long. good to buy. Trap shorts get liquidated, trap longs get liquidated, but ultimately we're still in bearish market structure. All we're seeing now are just bounces. They're not bounces aren't bullish. They're just, look, it's gone back up to the golden pocket. Until we start seeing strength, I wouldn't think that this is bullish. And the thing with bearish consolidation is it always looks bullish. You know, whatever happens, it looks like the price is going up until it continues. Yeah, like bear flags, the price goes up, doesn't it? And I kind of feel that 54 would be a good area to long. 54 is the target. Somewhere around there, the low of this range here. Let me bring the volume back up on the range. Let's have a look. It's going to be lower than the value area low here. It's going to be all the way down to this weekly level. I think that's what I want to see. I wouldn't mind if we come into this weekly level here. This red wick there. Clear out these early longs. All the early longs get liquidated. Then the shorts come in because they're like, oh my God, this keeps on going down. I better short. And then psh, that's when we get the trap. And then what's happening is what I'll probably be looking for is an accumulation. I'd like to see some kind of bottoming here. I don't know how it's going to play out, but I think possibly. Let's just have a look at one other thing. I'll just have a look at this trend-based fib. Look at that. We've smashed through the 1-to-1. 1.272 will take us to my area of interest. That's kind of where I'm looking at. Somewhere between here. Somewhere around here. But for a higher low. At the moment, that's where my mind is at. We've perfectly hit that 786, but actually I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice if we went all the way down to the 886 at 54.5 to bottom out? To bottom out here. And that brings me to my original analysis from a long time ago. Long time ago. That's why I kept it. Where are you? There. Wide stop for a higher low. And what I'll be looking for is some kind of accumulation. I'm going to put all of this into its own group. I don't know what to call it now. Trend line bearish trend. I want to see a range former. This is what I want to see next. I want to see the price stabilize. I want to see where the price bottoms. And then I want to see a range. Some kind of accumulation, some kind of bottoming structure, something to tell me that this is it. This is the bottom. We're bottoming. And that could take a few months, huh? Really, realistically, it could take a few months. It could go up, people get bullish and then crash again. Could we get a mini alt season? Sure could. If the price starts to pump, get an alt season or another drop. Or we could drop and bottom, couldn't we? So you could go up and then go down, or you could go down and then just bottom. No one really knows what's going to happen. I think 54 is my target, 54.5. I think that would be a really, really nice place to start picking up Bitcoin. I say Bitcoin because Bitcoin likes to move first. So if there is going to be any big move, it will be Bitcoin first, not altcoins. You may be able to get your favorite altcoins for cheap if you accumulate. But when it comes to the granddaddy, I think Bitcoin is the one to focus on. Don't get too distracted. And we have these lines of repair. We have this steep trend line, and then we have this outer trend line. This outer trend line is really important. I can't emphasize that enough. Yeah, Bitcoin isn't going to go up until it breaks this outer trend line. Yeah, and as time passes, obviously the trend line break is lower and lower and lower. So eventually this is going to bottom out. Eventually it'll come to a place where it will break. And you may get a situation where it breaks this one and then it keeps on going down. Or if things are changing, then I think the first kind of area of interest for me is this pivot here, this one here. That's a key pivot. It's around 74k. Yeah. If the price of Bitcoin starts to reclaim 74k, like that, which is the 618 of this trend-based extension, that's like getting back into the range. Yeah, you have this kind of higher time frame range, all-time high to this pivot low. That's the range. That would then, this whole thing would be a failed auction, deviation from the lows of the range. But the first sign of kind of real strength will be a reclaim of 74k. I think that's really important. That level of 74k is really important, and so is 54. And in between, I would like to see the price form a range with an attack of 54.5. Otherwise, a clean reclaim of 74, then you're going to see people start buying again, start longing again. If we can reclaim 74, yeah, because that would be okay. A lot of people will just ignore the noise and just wait for confirmation. In this context, confirmation would be 74, and it would require a little bit of strength to reclaim 74. So until you reclaim 74 convincingly, then I think people aren't going to be bothered to buy. They'll be looking to sell. And then traders will just be trading the movements. And that's basically it. I think probably wait for 74 to reclaim convincingly. Otherwise, we're aiming for probably 54.5, 55, somewhere around there. And then that'll be a really good place to pick up Bitcoin. I'd love to buy some Bitcoin at 54k. I wouldn't be thinking lower. I'm not thinking lower, just simply because of this head and shoulders pattern that is now visible. See that? I think the extent of this neckline break would take us to around 54, and that's it. Yeah, I'm not thinking, okay, it's going to continue going down. I'm not looking at lower. I'm really not. I think making a nice higher low of this pivot somewhere around 54 would make a lot of sense. And then that would be your kind of accumulation. I'd like to see an accumulation here. I'd like to see something. And if we can get a really nice accumulation over the summer, then we could get rid of this bear market and move into the next bull market, basically. A lot of people are saying that October Bitcoin peaked, which it did. And so a lot of people are saying that the best time to buy will be 1 year after Bitcoin peaks, which would bring us to October. Maybe. That would be at 54k. That would be here. Somewhere here. And it is possible to kind of go up, break, and, you know, take the lows for a bottom. It's totally possible. It's very possible to have a mini alt season to back test this neckline for another big drop for a bottom in October, which would be a clean liquidity sweep of this low that's forming. So I can't tell you that's going down now. It might go down, it might range and then go up to go down. I do feel like we need to go lower, but I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. I have no idea. Okay, so I think until we reclaim 74, it's probably safer to just trade the range, or just trade the range. In this context, it's probably better to long now, but you're not going to long middle of nowhere. You're going to long the lows. You'll be, people are looking at this and going, where's the best place to long? The lows. Right now we're underneath the point of control. It's not really a good place to long, is it? You're longing into resistance. You're longing into the 618. You kind of, traders will be looking at this as, oh, well, we're long. Where should I long? The golden pocket, probably. If you want to long, it would be around 63, 64k. The value area low of this mini range that's started to form is around 65.5, which is the 50 fib. But again, who knows? No one really knows. Yeah. But what I'd like to see now is a range to form. I think that's really important. Even though yesterday was a nice bullish, piercing bullish candle, today it's looking red. So this, you need a green to follow this bullish green, and if it's red, then it will probably be another red, and then it's going to kind of attack the lows again. Now we may not go and take the lows. You may kind of form something like that. You might get a break up, you might go down again. You know, like, there's so many ways that this could play out, but I think longing at around 54.5, or waiting for a clean sign of strength at around 74. You need to reclaim 74, the 618 of this trend base extension. We've gone through the 1-to-1 quite easily, so I think I'd like to see it go all the way down to the 1272 at 55 and 55k. That's what I'd like to see. All right, that's Bitcoin. Unless there's any questions, I'll quickly have a look at ETH BTC. I'm interested in ETH BTC as well, because I've been looking at ETH BTC, haven't I, in the past? We've kind of broken through now this point of control. So now this is, again, ETH is bearish against Bitcoin because we've lost the point of control. It was acting as support, and now it's kind of underneath. And in my mind, what I was thinking, and I've talked about this in the past, is a golden pocket retrace here. We mark that up. I think that would be a good place to long too. And I'd like to see ETH BTC now that we've lost the point of control. I would like to see ETH BTC come into the golden pocket. I think that would also, for me, that would be an indication of longing. Like, if you can get the both, you got this 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of 5-wave move. Again, that will take us to the 1.272 area, which is this golden pocket of this trend base extension there to there. Maybe not. Let me just redraw that again. Let's do it to there. Done that, girl. One to one. Actually, it's that. It's that. So if you come into the 618, I'd like to see us come into this 1-to-1, which is the golden pocket. I think that would be a really good place to long. I think that would be it. That will be the long of the millennium. When this ETH BTC hits the golden pocket here, I've talked about this in the past. I've gone back in the past and explained why. That's really where I'm thinking at the moment. That would make sense. I think that would be a good place to long. And if you get confluence where ETH BTC is coming into golden pocket and BTC is coming into maybe 54k, then that's confluence on across different charts. And who cares really about all the other charts? I'm not really bothered about Solana or whatnot. I'm not really fussed about these other charts, to be honest with you, because really all that matters is BTC and then ETH BTC. I'm not even really bothered about Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance is looking bearish, isn't it? It's still looking bearish. So clearly, even with Bitcoin crashing and alts crashing, Bitcoin dominance isn't going up. So you can't really look at this and go, yeah, I'm going to long, just because Bitcoin dominance feels like it wants to go down, because it doesn't mean anything, does it? It doesn't mean anything. You can't really trade Bitcoin dominance, to be honest with you. You can't make money like that. It'd be better to look at ETH BTC. So that's kind of the charts. Everything's crashed, hasn't it? Everything crashed last week. Let's have a look at some other kind of charts while we're at it. Apart from NVIDIA. Look at that. Strategy. Really strong buying tail there on this weekly chart. So look at Tesla. Wow. These ones. Wow, look at that. Gold has gone up against Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm not going to waste time looking at these other ones. The Russell 2000 is still riding high. I wonder if we do get something like that. Let's have a look at the order flow quickly. So we are getting bullish divergence here, yeah, and I just want to mention that. You see the CVD is going lower and the price is going higher. So the order flow right now is bullish. So the price of Bitcoin could probably still go up, huh? Just because we're getting some bullish absorption here. You can see it. You can see across this drop. CVD went down, made a lower low, but the price is higher. So there's quite heavier bullish absorption at these lower prices. So I can't tell you that it's going down, because right now I can see that the order flow is it's looking a little bit bullish. Look, you see the CVD is going down, putting in lower lows. The price is putting higher lows. So just based on that, Maybe we do go up. Maybe we go up, clear out some liquidity from the higher prices, reject, and go down again. I don't know. I think when you start getting bullish absorption like that, it's very difficult to short, a lot easier to long, but at the same time you have to take profit, or you just it's buy and hold for the higher time frame, because and on spot, because I still think we've come this far. Why not go a little bit lower? Why not fill that wick, attack slightly lower? All right, let's see what happens next. We are getting when I look at this though, I mean, I see we're underneath this point of control. We're getting bullish absorption on the CVD. At the same time, I can see that we've reclaimed this 6-6, the lower part of this golden pocket there. So there is a trade to be had here for a long. You'd have to put your invalidation at this low. You'd have to have a wide invalidation, and you're basically targeting initially 74k, which is not a great trade because you've got quite a wide stop. It's like a 1 to 2, but I mean, you know, if the price goes higher, then it becomes a more profitable trade. Where's the golden pocket? It's just above us. That's the problem. No, it's just it's not a great trade, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'm not fond of it. I wouldn't bother. Just let the range form. All right, that's Bitcoin. Unless there's any questions, I'm just going to move on. And let's see if we can reclaim 74. It'd be a lot easier to trade a reclaim of 74 than to try and long here. And it'll be a lot safer to wait for lower. In the meantime, you wait for the range to form and you can just scalp the range. Once the range forms, whatever happens, there will be a range forming. And just like we had this kind of range like that, you might get the same thing. You might get a range form. For another drop. Could be more, it could be much steeper, but no one knows actually. So let's see what happens. All right, that's Bitcoin. Unless there's any questions, I'll do Bitcoin again next week. Let's go to a couple of other tokens that I've been looking at on a weekly basis. I look at QANX every week, and I like the Quan platform. I like QANX. I like the community. I like the idea of what QANX is. If you don't know, then do your own research. None of this is financial advice. They've had some big announcements. Look, huge thanks to everyone who's already tested our quantum secure and multi-language testnet. Your contribution is helping us build a more secure future. So the big news is that the Quan testnet with audited QVM and QANX link has been launched. Well done. Congratulations. And they've posted a monthly recap here. which you can go and have a look. I'm not going to read it, but it's there. And this is what we've been waiting for, the final testnet, the big testnet, the one with the integrated audited QVM and QANX link. That's been launched. I suppose this is going to be tested now, like for a few months, I suppose. It's not going to just be 1 month. I suppose this is going to go on for a few months. And I suppose, and I don't know, I'm just guessing, that maybe we'll see the Quan mainnet launch later on in the year. Maybe a few months down the line, maybe in the summer. The great thing about the QANX platform is while everything was dropping, QANX didn't drop. It couldn't even take out the low. So last week I was talking about the possibility of another attack of the lows. Yeah, I don't know if anyone watches my streams paying attention to what I was saying, but if you remember, I did an 18-minute stream about QANX and potential drop. Remember, potential drop to value area low. I said another attack of the lows, and lo and behold, we had another attack of the lows. But looks like it's holding a higher low here. It's looking quite bullish, isn't it? Accumulation phase. I said accumulation phase. Not financial advice. It's all entertainment, but I guess someone out there is watching my videos and going, yes, he's right. Let's do it. Let's buy. This is a really bullish signer to kind of hold the higher low here. There's some big buying coming in here. Again, it's relatively small in the context of the whole range, but look, there's some buying, isn't there? Look at those green candles. Buy, buy, buy. Higher volume. And we're still not going up, but clearly there's some big accumulation happening here, clearly, yeah. And what's going on? What's happening here? Well, look, there's some people who want to buy. They're not patient. They're not putting limit orders. They just want to market buy. We're getting some big slippage here, aren't we? So on these 2 days, some people are just market buying and they're getting like 30% slippage or whatever. 17% slippage. They're not bothered. I think what's happening is you're getting some big accumulation here. They're not bothered about 17% or 25%. They just want to fill their bags. Keep on filling their bags. They just want to go. You feel good when your bag grows in size and you want it to happen now. That's what's going on. People are filling their bags now. It'd be a lot better to just put limit orders and get fills at a constant price at the lows and be patient. But that's not what's happening. People are just filling. These are just bag fills. When your bags are getting filled, it doesn't mean we're pumping and going to the moon. The market has to be right for that to happen. Everyone has to be buying. The whole market has to be buying for this to go to the moon. At the same time, everyone has to be buying. It's a FOMO that needs to happen. So we're not getting that just yet. And it's quite interesting because we've gone up to test these lows again. Basically what I was saying before, somewhere around 2 cents is resistance, and you can see it. You can see that we're hitting resistance. And it's good. It's a good sign to hit resistance because you're clearing out sellers. It just means in the future when you do go up, you go up because you've cleared out all the sellers. But also you can see that we're putting in a lower high here, can't you? So we're getting some market buying. We're not getting signs of strength just yet, which indicates a big price reversal. But compared to all the other altcoins, QANX is looking quite nice, isn't it? It's looking like it's looking much stronger, much healthier. So this is a really good opportunity to accumulate at these prices. It doesn't really matter how low we go here now, because we are trying to bottom here. Now, this could take weeks or months, and it had largely to do with Bitcoin and the rest of crypto. But I think it's okay for us to create an accumulation zone here for a massive breakout when the mainnet launches. Hopefully the mainnet launches and we go up like that eventually. That's kind of what we want to see with massive volume. It's not going to happen tomorrow because they've only just launched the testnet. I've shown you that. And so, not financial advice, but I guess it's good to just keep an eye on the Telegram channels. That's where most of the news is. That's where I post my video link. This is the one that I kind of keep an eye on, this unofficial one. Because here people can say what they want. You can have a look at the main one as well. And this is where you're going to find all the information. A lot of people are going to get rich from this, I see. So I still think we have time. I really believe we still have a little bit of time to accumulate at these kind of low prices. I think we're in a good zone here to accumulate, and let's just form a really nice accumulation zone here. And then we can get a really healthy breakout in the future and become wealthy. And then whoever becomes wealthy, you can invite me to your yacht. You could get me some flights and invite me to your yacht. That'd be nice. Or just come and visit me. I'll be in El Salvador. I'm going to El Salvador next week for forever. So you can come visit me in El Salvador. Go for a drink. I don't drink, but I'll have a lemonade. So yeah, so nothing really to report except this is good. This looks good. I should buy some more, huh? I'm selling my house. I'm selling my flat here in London. When I sell my flat, I'm just gonna buy QANX. So yeah, that's QANX. If you like this video, like, share, post, share, like. And if you haven't subscribed already, then why wouldn't you not subscribe to my channel so you can help me get to 1,000? That would be really appreciated. That's the least you can do, then that would be appreciated. So that's QANX. I hope that helps. Probably not, but it's always good to talk about QANX. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one. Be a short stream today, yeah. Oh, I've already streamed for like an hour. I need to cut this. I need to round this up. All right, the next token I've been talking about is TRVL. Why do I talk about TRVL? Well, because I am a true believer of this project, Dtravel. I've been involved for over 4 years. I'm not employed. I like it because I'm an Airbnb superhost. This is my profile. I've been doing it for over 10 years, 4.99. And because I do Airbnb, I like the idea of a decentralized Airbnb, which is what this is at the moment. You can search for properties in Brazil, for example, and you can book directly with the property owners. You can avoid the costs, get accommodation for cheaper prices, go to their direct booking website, and you can book directly. You can pay in crypto as well, and it's all registered on the blockchain. It works. It's a working real world application. It works. I've shown that it works, but I'll show you again. If you go to the Telegram channel and you have a look, new booking site activated, new booking process. You can see it's working. New booking processed. New booking processed. It's working, isn't it? You can see it's working. New booking processed. New booking. Look at all these new booking process. So it's working. And this is the first iteration, the first stages of this project. Was this kind of decentralized Airbnb. There's been a massive pivot, massive change in direction. We're not getting rid of this. We're just adding another direction, new layer to what's happening. The new CEO, Eric Pace, a friend of mine, he made a post on January the 9th. He talked about the future of Dtravel, ownership, identity, and continuity. I'm going to post that in chat. And if you haven't looked at this post, go and have a look at it. He talks about the why. The why is really important. He talks about what it means about the bit for the business. And then he's talking about TRVL. That's what I'm interested in, TRVL. He's saying that TRVL is being shifted towards structured capital. That helps power trust between strangers. So he's identified a real problem in the market. It's not a small problem, it's a big problem, and he's identified how we can fix it. Not just that, how we can bring value. If Dtravel's bet is right, TRVL is no longer peripheral, it becomes integral to the core infrastructure that fuels this entire ecosystem. So this is a big move. It's a big move in a big industry. It's an $11 trillion plus travel market. And he's talking about TRVL becoming central to the future of what we're building. He's done a lot of Q&As, and I've talked about the Q&As. If you go to my YouTube, I talk about, in my previous streams, I talk about the strategic pivot, the token burns, etc. So I talk a lot about Dtravel and TRVL. Last week I was just talking about heavy accumulation happening. I still believe that nothing's changed. We went down, we went down even further, and I did say last week I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to go down again to test the lows, and we had a really nice bounce yesterday, and we're getting a little bit of continuation. To be honest with you, this is looking good right now because we had a piercing candle. That's what this candle is. It's a piercing candle. It's bullish, but if it's only bullish if the next day's candle, which is today, is green. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of a reversal here. It's a little bit of a reversal with a higher low. Right now, this is looking quite bullish in the context of this bearish, mega bearish chart. I have been talking about the possibility of a WXY pivot forming. I've talked about that a lot on this MEXC chart. We're coming into that zone now of a possible pivot forming where this could be a major low put in right now. Time will tell her. It's always hard to predict the future, but maybe we are putting in a massive pivot low. Maybe there is going to be a mini alt season and we can see a nice pump here. Maybe, lots of maybes. When I look at this other chart, this combined chart, looking at the monthly time frame, we got decreasing volume on the previous month. You see that? These two red candles. Decreasing volume. So it's not as bearish as you think. We've gone down. Price is going back up. I think it's possible we do get a really nice pivot here. Or like a real higher time frame pivot here. And it's crazy how people sold. Someone sold at a tenth of a what is that fraction? It's like a tenth of a cent. People were selling at a tenth of a cent. I don't know why you would do that. Real fear, huh? It's a real capitulation. This candle here is a capitulation candle, and I guess some people just capitulated. Huh? They were just like, "This is it. I'm out." there's nothing you can do, you know, when people have given up. That's it, they've given up. But I said last week that with these microcap altcoins, the reality is that they are gambles. You could become extremely rich or you could lose all your money. And so therefore what you need is an effective strategy of accumulation. So this is it. This is like we're in an accumulation point here. If you have an effective strategy, why would you not buy these prices? These are the right prices to buy at, because you get slippage, but it doesn't matter because you're so low. If you look at the volume, we're still in the range. Like we're still in the range. We're in the volume range. We haven't lost the range. We have this value area low. We've pushed it down a little bit, but there it is. So value, we're in the range. So as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing scary about touching the value area low, coming to the lows. It's just normal. And I've been talking to Andrea this week. She's our community manager. She does the Telegram and the X posts, and she's been posting, actually. There's been some conversations in Telegram. I think it's best to just go there and have a look for yourselves. I'm not going to go through it and read it because I don't want the stream to be too long. Leandro's been kind of making his thoughts heard. He's very open and honest, and that's kind of the great thing about Dtravel. The great thing about the community is that we're open, we're honest, we say what we feel, and that's what we want. We want a community which is open and honest, and we can just talk about our thoughts without retribution or animosity. We can just say what we feel. Andrea's been kind of doing what she does. She's been working hard. They've just shared, she's started a new section called What the Something Happened, and she's continuously engaging with the community. And she says, thanks to the community members for your suggestions. Shout out to me, Beard Prince, that's me. So thank you, Andrea, Harry Jacks, and these other guys. And then she posts some things. There's some conversations going on here. I'm not going to go through them, but this is engagement. This is a community that is growing. It's vibrant. It's active. It's not dying. If anything, it's becoming more active and more vibrant and more enthusiastic about the future. And that doesn't mean there is no criticism or no critique. That's all part of the communities. It's always important to be honest. And so it's important also to come and give you feedback. And here all the feedback is read. And even though Eric doesn't always respond immediately, he does read the feedback. He does read the comments. And if there's anything pertinent, then I do kind of remind him. I say, look, make sure you read that. Make sure you answer that. And he does. And if he doesn't, then usually Andrea is there answering too. So go in there and have a look. Now, I've been kind of thinking about Dtravel. I've been thinking a lot about Dtravel. I've been thinking a lot about the future of Dtravel and the future of the charts. And I think a lot of people ask me or have asked me, why do you continue banging the drum? Why do I continue drumming bullishly about Dtravel and TRVL? Well, look, I haven't made a penny from Dtravel. I haven't made a penny. Okay, I've been a host on Dtravel for 3.5 years. I've turned over bookings, so I've made money from my own business, which I have used on Dtravel. So I have my direct booking site. This is on Dtravel. I've made money from this, but this is just my business. Yeah, this is my real world business. Instead of using Airbnb, I will send return guests and return visitors and people who message me directly. I'll send them to my Dtravel site, and they'll book directly. And so I do support Dtravel through my own business, but I haven't made any money from the crypto. I haven't. I've lost money, in fact. Look at it. I've lost money. Look at it. I've lost money. What I've tried to do is accumulate more and never sell. Yeah. So even though technically, from a USD perspective, I'm at a loss, the truth is that I never really expected us to lose 2 cents. I've talked about this in the past. And so I was accumulating. I didn't have much, you know, I had a few million TRVL. I didn't sell because I was really bullish on this project. I was looking higher time frame, all-time highs. And so naturally, as the price started to drop, I see that as an opportunity to buy more TRVL because I'm still bullish. I'm still higher time frame bullish on Dtravel and TRVL. Yeah. If anything, I'm more bullish now than I ever have been, for all the reasons that I have explained in my videos on my YouTube. New leadership. I've talked about the new leadership. I've talked about the mistakes in the past. I've talked about why I think this is a gem. I've talked about the new CEO, Eric Pace. I've talked about all of the problems and why. I've gone into the reasons why we're here now. And I've explained. I've tried to explain with openness and honesty. Okay. But I'm now looking at this as an opportunity because it's allowed me personally to increase my TRVL holding by 5x without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. Yeah. If the price had kind of stayed here, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And sure, my original investment would still be at a high fiat value, but my TRVL accumulation stack would be significantly lower. And I'm still believing, or I'm still expecting in the future, I don't know when, for us to take out the all-time high. For me, that hasn't changed. We either go to zero or we go and take out the all-time high, somewhere around there. Yeah. It was always the case, though. It was always like, even when we're here, it's always like you could lose all your money or you could go to all-time high. It's just that now, if we do in the future go to the all-time high, you can make a lot more money. Yeah, because it's given me personally an opportunity to increase my TRVL holdings at a much lower price, right? So I've only seen this as an opportunity to buy more TRVL, but what's really kind of like what I've been thinking about recently is that we're doing more than, it's more than just crypto speculation here. Dtravel is building a real world network, and I've talked about this. This is the real world network. But more than that, we're building a community, and the community is evident to see in the Telegram channel. You can see it. The community is growing. More and more people are now are commenting, are interacting, are sharing their feedback. Different people who haven't spoken before, people I haven't seen before, are starting to engage. And people who have been around for years, like Kitty Komi and Wales, and then others who are more recent. And then I was having a conversation this week with Andrea, and I was in India. I was talking to Andrea and another person called Nikita from India. And in my mind, I've got this idea of something. And I'm not going to waste too much time today talking about the something, but I do feel that when I look at the market cap of TRVL, it's really low. Like, it's a shade above $500,000 right now. I'm not looking at the fully diluted. I'm just looking at the current market cap based on circulating supply. It wouldn't take many people to hold the low now. It would only, at the current price, it would only take 500 people buying $1,000 worth of TRVL to hold this low. 500 people. And if you look at the analytics, We've got 11,000 operator signups. We've got 6,260 listings. So we have the value. We have the value. We have the people who have the value to do this. And we also have a community that's becoming more and more active. And we are growing this community from almost from square one. But it doesn't matter, because it's almost like we had to kind of clear out the old and start afresh. New leadership, new vision, new direction, new community. That's what we're building now, a new community, a community of people who truly believe in the future of Dtravel. And not only that, they're willing to put their eggs in this basket, and they're willing to get behind and support Eric and Eric's vision for the future, which he talks about in this Telegraph post that he made. This one and the Dtravel blog post. So if you go to Dtravel, he made a blog post back in November. Go to it. This new chapter. This is all new. And this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, well, look, what we really need to do as a community now at these prices is accumulate, because we can easily find 500 people. I think in the whole world, we can easily find 500 people who are willing to accumulate at these prices $1,000 worth of TRVL. I don't think that's a hard task, actually. And I think once we do that, we've bottomed out. That's it. The bottom's in. Because you have 500 people who are willing to accumulate. Well, it's about 1 million. It's just under 1 million TRVL at these prices. 1 million. And these people are true believers. They're never going to sell. And once you do that, you've created the bottom. But also what I've been thinking of is, how great would it be if you had more people, I don't know how many, but as many as possible, who are buying TRVL in increments on a regular basis, and maybe weekly is the right time frame. Can you imagine if we can create a movement of people buying $10 or $50 or $20, whatever people can afford, like coffee money, disposable money that has necessarily no significant value to them, that they can just spend on a regular basis. It wouldn't take that many people for us to create a movement of people willing to do that, willing to buy TRVL on a weekly basis, $50 a week, $50 a week, $50 a week. At these prices, at these liquidity levels, we will bottom out very quickly. Yeah. And this is my challenge to anyone who's watching my videos. Obviously not that many people watch my videos, so obviously I don't have the biggest reach. But everyone has friends, and everyone knows people, and everyone can talk to a friend, and anyone who is watching could start doing that. Wouldn't it be good if everyone who's watching my videos would commit, would pledge and say, hey, I'm a true believer of Dtravel. I don't have the money to buy $500,000 worth of TRVL now, but hey, I could help, I can contribute, I can buy $10 a week. I can commit to that. I can commit to $20 a week, or I can commit to $50 a week. And that's what I'm kind of setting. I'm challenging you. If you're watching my videos, if you are a true believer of Dtravel, get in touch with me on Telegram or on this video. I'd like to see if we can get people now to start accumulating on a weekly basis. And this is higher time frame accumulation now. These are people who are going to buy and never sell, or at least hodl until the all-time high. Yeah, that's kind of the challenge. The all-time high is 1.56, somewhere around there. Buying $10 a week. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're at the lows here now for 5 months, for the next 5 months, or let's say 4 months. I'm going to do it on my calculator. 4 months is 16 weeks. Let's just say you do buy $10 a week. It's only $160. Let's say your average price of TRVL is where the point of control is, which is 0.0017. You'll end up with a shade under 100,000 TRVL. So for $160, if you buy $10 a week for the next 16 weeks, you're risking $160. You're accumulating a nearly 100,000 TRVL. And in the future, when we get to the all-time high at $1.56, it's actually 94,000 TRVL. But let's just round it up to 100,000. Then you end up with $156,000. So your $160 becomes $160,000. Yeah. Now imagine if we can get a movement of people buying $10 a week, $20 a week, if they can afford it, $50 a week or $100 a week. It won't take that much. It won't take that many people for us not only to bottom out, but really bottom out, like truly bottom out. True believers who are willing to just buy a little bit of TRVL on a weekly basis. Not like I bought TRVL now when Moon, when Lambo. I'm talking about people who are willing to buy every single week. Buy. But you don't have to buy a lot. Just buy $10 coffee money. It's like 2 cappuccinos of TRVL every week. Yeah, and it doesn't matter about the price then. It doesn't matter if the price goes up and down. All that matters is that now we're creating a movement of people accumulating, and then we can truly bottom out here. This is how we bottom out at these prices, at this market cap, with this network of people who maybe have never bought TRVL, have never even thought about TRVL. We have the people now, we have the value, and we're at the correct price, the correct part of the chart to be able to do that, to start that movement of people. So that's kind of what I'm kind of thinking, and not financial advice, it's all entertainment, but I just wonder if there are people out there who watch my videos, or if people out there who know people who are willing to make a pledge and join with me and anyone else who's interested to start buying on a weekly basis. And I'm going to start doing this. So not every week I'm going to start buying a little bit of TRVL. I've been doing it. I've been buying TRVL in this drop, but now I'm not talking about buying crazy amounts. I'm just talking about bit by bit by bit, little by little by little. Yeah, and if we can get a movement of people doing that, all the people that I've been kind of, these are the people we want to start with. We're the ones who start this off. If everyone here is willing to participate, then we start off the movement of people. There's enough people in the Telegram and the Dtravel community to do this, and that's when we bottom out, and then we support. It buys time for Eric and the rest of the leadership to do what they've proposed in their posts on Telegraph and the blog. The new chapter gives them the opportunity, the time they need to do what they've said they want to do. All right, that's all I'm going to say. There's nothing really else to say, actually. I do think that we're pivoting here, but again, not financial advice. I think these are really good prices. Like if you want to start accumulating, you're not going to get a better opportunity than this. I don't think we're going to go down much more. Again, I'm not really bothered, actually. The lower we go, the cheaper I can accumulate more TRVL for lower prices. I've been buying. Yeah. And eventually we'll bottom out, just because the price of the market comes so low that it'll be impossible for the price to go down further, because you have people like me who are willing to spend thousands of dollars and just buy millions of TRVL. Yeah, if the price was to drop another 10x, if this market cap went down to whatever, $100,000, I think I'd probably end up buying all the TRVL. Probably. I think I'll buy the whole lot. I'm not bothered. me personally, I'm not bothered, because I really believe that one day in the future we're going to become a giant. Yeah. And so I just see all of this as an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for all those people who haven't bought TRVL, haven't got a big enough stack to start accumulating. And if we can get enough people to support that idea, then this is the perfect place and price to do that. Yeah. But I've never intended to sell, and I'm not intending to sell, certainly not at these prices. I just see it as an opportunity. So it's all food for thought. If you like this video, I wouldn't mind if you share it or like it, or at least subscribe to my YouTube. And then I'm going to do another update next week. Next week, I'm going to be in El Salvador. I'm going back to El Salvador on Tuesday. I'm back in El Salvador, so I'll be doing some live streaming and live analysis from El Salvador. I'll be talking about El Salvador a lot more from next week onwards. So that'll be interesting. They were tired of me talking about El Salvador every week, and now I'm going to be back in El Salvador. I'll be talking about El Salvador every week. And so keep an eye out for that. Again, I'm wearing the Dtravel cap. I'll be proudly representing Dtravel in El Salvador from next week. And that's going to be fun. All right. So I hope you have a great weekend. And then until next week, goodbye.